Hello, everyone, and thank you for visiting my channel. Today, I want to talk about what it would be like to return to the US after over a year of living in the Philippines and the reverse culture shock you may experience doing so. Stay tuned. Although there are strong cultural ties between the Philippines and the US, the daily realities, social norms, and economic landscapes are very different. Returning to the US after spending more than a year in the Philippines is a significant transition that can cause a variety of difficulties and adjustments, commonly referred to as reverse culture shock. Be prepared for a period of readjustment, which can make the process easier. Reverse culture shock is often overlooked. It can be more challenging than the initial culture shock of moving abroad. You likely start mentally preparing to leave the Philippines even before you actually do. The excitement of connecting with family and friends, speaking English effortlessly, and enjoying familiar comforts will feel strong. This honeymoon phase can last from a few days to several weeks. That's when reality hits. You may start feeling like a stranger in your own country. Things that once seemed normal may suddenly feel strange, useless, or even annoying. Feelings of alienation or miscommunication can happen if friends and family don't fully understand your experiences or how you have changed. You might become more critical of your own country. Over time, you may gradually readjust. You will find a new rhythm, value both the good and bad sides of both cultures, and incorporate your experiences abroad into your change in identity. The flip side is you may not readjust at all and instead yearn to be back in the Philippines soon. Your old routines and social circles might have moved on, and you may struggle to find your fit. Your identity may have become linked to your expat life. Returning home can make you question where you belong. After adapting to Filipino customs, you might find yourself frustrated with the effectiveness or lack thereof of American procedures, driving habits, or communication styles. It's also common to miss the constant novelty and challenges of expat life, which can make life back home seem dull. You may focus on what you miss and compare the US unfavorably to the Philippines. Friends and family, while caring, might not fully understand or care about the depth of your overseas experiences. This can lead to feelings of loneliness. Your perspective has likely evolved from your time in the Philippines, and you may now question some American values or materialism. Recognize that reverse culture shock is a common occurrence. Realize that things will have changed, and so have you. Don't count on a smooth transition back to your previous life. Finding expat returning groups, blogging, or keeping a journal can all be beneficial outlets. It takes time to reintegrate. This phase is frequently perplexing. You may feel like you're suddenly an outsider even though you know you're at home. Recognizing that reverse culture shock is normal can help soften the blow. It usually fade away in over a week or months. There are many practical considerations beyond just the psychological ones. As you know, the cost of living in the US is much higher than in the Philippines, especially for housing, transportation, and healthcare. Even so, this may still surprise you. Another thing to prepare for is the sticker prices. You will have sticker shock when buying anything from groceries to coffee in the US. This is due part because you are used to the cheaper prices for groceries in the Philippines. The cost of purchasing a home or renting are significantly higher in the US. You will need to downsize or rethink your ideal living situation. And while public transportation is getting better in some US cities, you may still eventually need to buy a car. Remember that gas prices, car insurance, and maintenance can be costly compared to the very affordable Philippine public transit or ride sharing services. The price of food will be much higher at restaurants and grocery stores. When you are earning in Philippine pesos, switching back to US dollars means a different financial perspective. Be aware of current currency exchange rates and adjust your financial plans accordingly. If your US bank accounts have been closed or neglected, it may take some time to reopen them. Make sure you have money when you arrive. There may also be an impact on your credit score. Living abroad long term can impact your credit score in the US. To rebuild it, consider getting a secure credit card, becoming an authorized user on someone else's card, or taking small loans and paying them back on time. This is vital when applying for mortgages, auto loans, or apartment rentals. Depending on your profession, the US job market might be different from when you left. Networking, updating your resume to include your international experience, and tailoring it to US standards will be essential. Be prepared to explain to U.S. companies how your experience in the Philippines has benefited you, such as your ability to adapt, solve problems in a different cultural setting, and your language skills. Before returning, leverage your professional connections and LinkedIn. Research the salary ranges in the U.S. location where you plan to live, considering your field and experience level. The cost of living is higher in the U.S., even though earnings are usually greater. Without a current rental or U.S. credit history, securing housing might be challenging. You may need to find temporary accommodation with friends or family first. Be ready for credit and background checks. If your credit is poor, a co-signer may be necessary. Rebuilding your credit and saving for a down payment should be a priority if you wish to purchase a home in the future. Housing markets vary significantly by region. This process is often more complex and costly than in many countries, including the Philippines. And make sure your health insurance is secure immediately upon return. If you're employed, your employer might provide options. If not, explore coverage through the Affordable Care Act marketplace or private insurers. Finding new primary care physicians and specialists, especially if you have ongoing health needs, will require research and appointments. Transferring medical records from the Philippines can also be a lengthy process. Another thing you must do is make sure your U.S. driver's license is renewed if needed. Familiarize yourself with the renewal process in your state. Driving customs, speeds, and traffic laws differ between the US and the Philippines. Be prepared for changes in road conditions and more assertive driving, depending on the state you're in, of course. If you plan to drive, make sure you obtain insurance and register it. The next thing is the reintroduction of direct communication. Americans tend to communicate more directly than Filipinos, who often communicate in a more indirect and high context manner. After a year of adapting to Filipino etiquette, this difference can sometimes feel abrupt and cause you to be taken aback. Compared to Filipinos, Americans often keep more personal space. Although the term Filipino time is widely used, Americans usually place a high value on punctuality in social and professional settings. After possibly leading a simpler lifestyle in the Philippines, you might be surprised by the abundance of options and emphasis on material possessions in the US. The close knit, family oriented community feel of the Philippines may be missed, even though the US has strong communities. You might also miss the distinct flavors and convenience of Filipino food, despite the US offering a wide range of international cuisines. To help with this, seek out Filipino restaurants and markets. You may feel as if you are between worlds, not fully part of either the society you grew up in or the Philippine culture. Your priorities may shift because of your overseas experience, thus, changing your values. Your identity and personal story will be deeply shaped by your time in the Philippines. Yes, you will definitely change after more than a year of living abroad, especially in a cultural diverse country like the Philippines. You will gain a broader understanding of different cultures, perspectives, and way of life. So, when you return to the West, specifically the US, you will see the world differently. In conclusion, it takes more than just catching a plane to return to America after living in the Philippines. It's a path of self discovery, adaptation, and identification. To ensure a smooth transition back to your home country, give yourself grace, exercise patience, and lean on support systems. At the same time, remember to treasure the priceless experiences you had while in the Philippines. You may make the transition easier by being aware of the possibility of reverse culture shock, planning for practical and financial adaptations, and recognizing your own personal development. All right, guys, that is all for today's show. If you have any questions or comments, please comment down below. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a good day.